In the final days of World War II, while the world stared at ruins and smoke, another kind of battle was already underway, one fought in silence. Not in the White House, not in the Kremlin, but in abandoned bunkers, hidden labs, and sealed rooms, where a deal was made that no government ever officially admitted. A deal without which mankind would never touch space, never reach the moon, and never build the technologies that shape our modern world. This is the story of that deal, the one history prefers to forget. For centuries, humanity looked at the moon as a symbol of dreams. But the journey to reach it didn't begin with inspiration. It began with fear, rivalry, and a silent agreement between two emerging superpowers. The space race wasn't born in observatories. It was born in the ashes of a broken world. A world desperate to control the future before the other side could claim it. 1,945. Germany has fallen. Europe is shattered. But beneath the rubble lies something more valuable than gold. Scientists who know how to build the future of warfare. The United States launches Operation Paperclip, secretly transporting more than 1,600 German engineers and physicists, including Wernher von Braun, the man behind the V-2 rocket. The Soviets do the same, capturing their own teams and transporting them east. This wasn't yet the space race. This was the opening move. In a much deeper game, both nations knew a simple truth. Whoever controlled rocketry would control the future. Von Braun's team in America began transforming wartime weapons into the foundations of space technology. The V-2 became the blueprint for the American Redstone. Redstone evolved into the Saturn rockets, the same lineage that carried Apollo 11 to the moon. Meanwhile, the Soviets fired back with a shockwave. Sputnik, the first artificial satellite. Then Yuri Gagarin, the first man in space. The United States panicked. Budgets exploded. NASA was born. The Mercury program was launched. But here's the part missing from textbooks. None of it would have been possible without the silent cooperation that both sides pretended didn't exist. While the world saw a clean ideological rivalry, the truth was far messier. The German scientists brought to America didn't just bring experience, they brought entire systems. Guidance blueprints, turbopump designs, aerodynamic profiles, and the engine principles that powered the first generation of American rockets. Across the border, the Soviets gained Helmut Grotrup, another V-2 specialist who had worked under von Braun. Grötrup's team reverse-engineered the V-2 from memory, then improved it. Their work became the backbone of the R-1 and eventually the R-7 Semyorka, the rocket that launched Sputnik. But the exchange didn't stop with people. The United States secretly monitored Soviet test launches, capturing telemetry leaks, exhaust signatures, and radio pulses. From those signals alone, American engineers decoded Soviet fuel mixtures and engine performance without ever seeing the hardware. At the same time, Soviet factories quietly bought Western ball bearings, vacuum tubes, gyroscopes, and specialized alloys purchased through third-party companies because Soviet industry couldn't produce them yet. A rivalry on the surface, a technical loop beneath it. German designs in American rockets. German memory in Soviet rockets. American intelligence decoding Soviet launches. Soviet industry running on Western components. Two enemies locked in a race, yet borrowing just enough from each other to keep climbing higher. Saturn V, the rocket that took humans to the moon, wasn't a purely American invention. It carried the DNA of wartime Germany. This raised a question no leader wanted to answer. Is scientific progress worth embracing people with dark pasts? Does power justify looking away from history? The Cold War's classified files suggest that, for both nations, the answer was yes. From GPS to satellite internet, from weather forecasting to global communication. Modern life stands on the shoulders of technologies born in that silent rivalry. 3 generations have passed. Empires have changed. But the shadow of that deal still follows us. Every time we use a map, every time we check the weather, every time a satellite sends us data, we are touching the consequences of a pact made in silence. The space race was never just about rockets or ideology. It was about power, fear, ambition, and the willingness to bury the past to dominate the future. Progress always has a price. And sometimes the future we celebrate is built on histories we chose not to see.